Bald Eagle Retreat? Was anyone at the Bald Eagle Retreat, or was anyone at the Wisdom Builders Retreat? Like, if I met anyone in person other than Bob, because he's my buddy. Okay. I just wanted to see. I feel like I already know Barbara because we do the success team together. And I see she is such a delight because she smiles at me when I'm talking, and it makes me feel like I'm not such a goober. So I just wanted to know if there was anybody here that I had actually gotten to meet in person. Bob and I hit it off right off the bat. If you've ever been at an event with him and you watch him run up on the stage and run back down and jump a couple of steps and go back down, then you find out his story about how his family has built this business, where it came from, like the big moments that built the business. Just incredible. So he was one of my very first introductions into NeoLife, and I'm so thankful for that. So Bob has become one of my great buddies. So if you don't mind, I guess we'll just start off and kind of tell you how this came to be, and then we'll talk for a minute, and then, or a few minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions if anyone has anything, if y'all want to chat about anything. But we'll just kind of tell you our story. And the reason I bring in Daniel, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bob.
We lost your volume for a second, but you're back. So great.
Okay, good. Bob, let me know if that happens again, because we have new Wi-Fi that I'm excited about. It just happened today, but I don't know if my computer is actually hooked up to it because I just got home about 2 minutes before this call. So if you wouldn't mind looking in right here, let's just make sure that this is plugged up, because this is, oh, we're good. It's 64%. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background. I know that Bob just told you about us growing a business. So that's really how I ended up here with NeoLife. I am a distributor or a promoter at heart, because that's where I started in this industry. And that's what changed my life forever. I received a phone call from my cousin. I did not answer the phone call because I knew that she was going to talk to me about this direct sales thing that she had just started. So that is a training point to all of you. When you're calling people and you're messaging them, they may not pick up, but if you do it the right way, they'll call you back. So what she did is, I saw all over Facebook that she was starting this new business in health and wellness. And I really didn't want anything to do with it, if I'm being honest. So when she called me, I knew that it was that. And she really just left a message and said, "Hey, Ashley, I won't say your name. Give me a call. When you get this, I want to run something by you." And I told Daniel that night, I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to step outside and make this phone call. I know she wants to talk to me about that direct sales thing, and I'm not doing it. So if I'm not back inside in 5 minutes, make up an excuse and come outside and get me off the phone, right? So I went outside, made the phone call, and he did exactly what I told him to do. And he was trying to get me off the phone, but she had said something that caught my attention. You know, she thought she was going to be talking to me about the products because it was health and wellness. And I was at that point, I was a personal trainer and massage therapist by trade. We're a military family. I was working on base in the base gym as a massage therapist. So she was reaching out to me because she thought, this health and wellness business that I've started is perfect for you because you're in the gym already and you see people working out all the time. This is perfect for you. She knew that my degree was in sports management. So she thought I was a shoo-in for the product side. But when she called me, all I heard is that she said, "Hey, I've started this new health and wellness business. I'm really excited about it. I think you're going to love the products. I think it'll be easy for you to share with people because you work in a gym, and I've made $20,000 in the last few months." Now, that is what caught my attention. I didn't hear anything else she said. I just heard that she was making money. And from the outside looking in, we were a military family. We had a roof over our head. We had food on our table. You wouldn't have thought that we needed extra income. We were living a great life. But that was all I heard. I was not interested in the products, but I was interested in any way I could bring extra income into our family, because I was working full-time job. My husband was working full-time job. The kids were both in school. Neither of us could get another full-time job. So in order to move the ball financially for our family, we had to find something that we could work alongside our regular job. It had to be something that we could work at lunch. It had to be something we could work in the nooks and crannies of our life. And I heard that that's what she was doing and that she had made great money. Now, here is what I told Daniel when I went back inside. He saw my face and he was like, "Please tell me you didn't sign up for anything. And I was like, no, I haven't yet. I was like, but I think I'm going to do this. And you can imagine, like, I had done direct sales before and failed miserably because I was I was office assistant for someone that drove a pink car. So I had tried to sell the products that the people with the pink cars sell. And she was phenomenal. My friend, her name's Jessica. She is incredible at what she does. Well, I tried to do that. And I don't know if y'all can see me real clearly on the screen, but I'm not great with makeup. It's not my gift. I know how to put mascara on barely. I'm not great. But I thought, well, she's making great money as, the pink car driver. I'll try that. So I got started. I ordered some products. I don't think I ever sold anything. I remember looking and thinking, who would buy $23 mascara? It's only like $5 at the dollar store. Why in the world? So obviously I was terrible at it because I could never talk anybody into buying $23 mascara. Now that I'm older, I think my mascara probably does cost about that much, but we were like 22, 23. That was like, that's $1 for every year I was alive on mascara. Like that was not a great deal for me. So I had all of this makeup that I had ordered because you had to place a big order in order to get started. And then we moved with the military and we moved with the military. We moved. We ended up in Florida, in Navarre, Florida. And that's where I heard about the health and wellness business. And he was like, what, why would you do that, honey? It's not our thing. We're not salesmen. I don't think it's a great idea. And I said, I think I'm going to do it anyway. And he said, why? And I said, look, she has made $20,000 and she ain't $20,000 better than me. That was literally my line that started this business, that my cousin from our tiny town in Alabama was not $20,000 better than me. And if she could make $20,000, surely I could make $5,000. And that would change our lives. $5,000 would change our life. We could pay off a credit card with $5,000. And for us to take extra money that was already in our budget that we were already spending on whatever it was and pay off $5,000, it was going to take years to do that. So when I heard she had made $20,000, I was like, I can make $5,000 and I can pay off that credit card. That'd be fantastic. He was still not fully on board, but he was like, babe, whatever you want to do. He was like, but if you order products, they're going to sit on that dining room table and you cannot put them under the bathroom sink. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, we've moved 5 times. And every time we've moved, that box of makeup moves with us. And you never open it. You never use it. It's underneath our sink at every single duty station. And I was like, you know what? That man's got a point. Because it's all this bright red lipstick, all the stuff that they send you that like people don't wear. So that was our deal. So what, from your perspective, that far? Do you have anything to add in?
No, I was just thought it was just one of those things. Like my whole thing was, well, just make your money back. I think that's all I said was just like,
keep it there till you make your money
she was
back.
telling me, hey, we got to get this, kind of running through the numbers and talking real fast like she does. And I was like, you know what? Just make your money back. And that's kind of where I left it.
Yeah. So then fast forward, we were invited to this thing. And actually the program that I was invited to, we're going to launch for NeoLife after convention. I guess I can give you a sneak peek if you want. Oh, Bob, you have a question?
Yeah, Daniel, how in the world did she get you to convention? Because you said, what can I do, say, or buy you so I don't have to go to this thing? So
that is actually it. So see, I was invited to this thing and we're going to launch that thing after convention. It's awesome. But in order to go to this thing, it's called Ruby Boot Camp. So we're going to launch it after convention. But in order to be a part of this Ruby Boot Camp, you had to be selected. And one of the qualifications was you had to have tickets to the next convention. And I'm nothing if not a rule follower. So on the way there, stopped at a red light in Pace, Florida. I looked at the qualifications and it said, you've got to have tickets to the next event. And I thought, I cannot walk into this room and them ask me if I've met all these qualifications and be embarrassed. That's not who I am. So I bought tickets to the next event at that red light on my way to this thing called Ruby Boot Camp. So I bought the tickets. I didn't think anything else about it. Fast forward 6 months, I'd gone to this Ruby Boot Camp. I learned about it. Daniel did not go. I learned about the business. I was excited about the business and I'd made a little bit of money. But come February of that next year, it's time to go to this convention thing. And wouldn't you know it, every time you're on the right path and you're on the good path, Satan comes in and he tries to mess it all up. Like evil is always going to be against good. You know, evil forces are always going to work against good forces. And I feel like that's what was happening then, because everything had gone wrong the week before. He had been TDY for 2 weeks. He just got home and we were going to turn right around and drive from Florida to Texas because we didn't have the money to fly. So we're going to drive 10 or 12 hours. And he was zero excited about it on a scale of 0 to 0. He was
-1,
negative, -2. So he said, is there anything I can do, say, or buy you to get out of going? And I said, nope, let's go.
That's how I got there. She did say, like, in all funny, like in seriousness, she was like, hey, like no kids in a hotel room, like at least like come for that. And I was like, okay, I'm in. And so like, if I'm being real honest,
we had 2 little kids. And if you've ever had 2 little kids and you like your spouse, you never get time alone. So I was like, it's just going to be me and you in a hotel room. Is that not enough to get you to get in the car? And he was like, actually, that is enough. So he jumped in the car. We went to this thing called convention and we walked in the room. And what did you see?
yeah. So I walked in and I saw like music and lights and like people swing. I was pretty convinced they were swinging these necklaces things, but we joke about that today. But bottom line is it was a lot to take in. And I already walked in, I'm pretty skeptic at heart. Right. And so like, and I knew she was doing this thing and I knew like, she was like, I knew things were happening. I just wasn't paying much attention to that. But I walked in and I looked at her and I said, what kind of cult trash have you got us into? Like, this is a little much. Right. And she said, why don't you sit down and just not ruin the weekend? And I said, yes, ma'am. And so I sit there with my arms folded, you know, kind of lean back in my chair like this. And through a nonviolent protest, no, you're good. Through a nonviolent protest right there in the seat, right? And so I went from this posture, kind of lean back, you know, to what I saw on stage was people who, you know, I saw men being men. I saw men loving their wives. I saw people honoring one another and celebrating one another. And to be honest, I saw them achieving something. And it had nothing to do with money. To be honest, like that when people bring up money, I even kind of was like, yeah, whatever. I don't really believe that. But I saw that they were the type of people that I wanted to be. And this was the truth. They were better than me. Right. And my pride didn't like that, if I'm being really honest. And so I went from this posture and they were saying things that were piquing my interest, right? Not about money, but about self-development and leadership. And they were talking about becoming better, the better version of yourself. And I went from this right here to like this right here to I was like, hey, give me a notebook. And then I started getting in, leaning in. And so I left that place that Friday night, like converted, if you will, right? So I was talking about 90 miles an hour and I looked at her and I said, you know, if what they're saying is true, like we could really do this. Like, no offense to those people, but yes, they're living a life that I want, not from a materialistic standpoint necessarily, but they've got freedom that I don't have.
In a significant standpoint, that was a big deal.
Yeah, and they were significant, right? They were making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
And I said, if what they're saying is true, like we could do this, right? Like, no offense to them, but they're not like that, like talent wise, what they're bringing to the table. Like, we could do this. Like, we really could. And we got out, we get in the car and I'm talking 90 miles an hour, excited. And about 5 to 10 minutes later, we round this curve on I-35, going to our busted up hotel room that we could
motel room
that we could afford.
It was terrible.
And yeah, pretty sure a lady of the night came and knocked on the door that night.
In the middle of the night.
We had to tell her, you know, no, thank you. We didn't call you. But like
that'd be the room over there.
we went on the interstate. And at that point I got mad and I don't know why. Well, I didn't know why at the time. And I went from like happy to mad in a very short period of time. And she looked at me and she goes, what is your, like, whoa, my gosh, like what just happened? And I said, I don't know, but I feel crazy. Like and so I get back to the hotel room and I sit in the bath on the bathtub ledge, and there's a hole in the wall. And
I told you it was a motel.
a pretty good motel room.
Yeah.
And as I sat and I thought, because I had to figure out, like I was angry because I felt like I drank the Kool-Aid, right? I felt like I am a weak-minded person, and how dare I let this cult, that I walked in with, convince me. But then as my mature self started to sink in, I realized that those people were achieving things and had freedoms that I wanted, but the path I was on was not going to lead me there. I wanted this stuff. If you would have asked me, I wanted an extraordinary life, right? But I was on an average path. My thinking was average. I was contributing to the average. But if you allowed me to dream for a minute or to think bigger than my path, I would want extraordinary, right? Look, we all would. But what I realized, and here's what made me mad. What I realized is the path I was on, in order to go from this path to this path over here, that was going to take hard work. I was not naive enough to think that, I'm going to sign up, we're going to just magically say we're going to do this, and it ain't going to take hard work. It's a work program, right? Nobody's ever going to tell you hard work, this stuff's not work, right? And I knew in order to achieve extraordinary things, it's going to take extraordinary effort. But for the first time in my life, I saw a path that wasn't dependent on somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. And so I walked out of the bathroom about 2 hours later. Like I said, I felt a little crazy. I also probably thought about how to fix that hole in the wall, but I walked out of the bathroom and I said, well, let's do this. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, all right, well, if we're going to do it, let's do it.
Well, and the conversation that we had was, we can't unsee what we saw. We saw a path that was going to get us to where that could get us to where we wanted to be faster. So we couldn't unsee what we saw. We couldn't unhear what we heard. We had heard things that weekend that made us dream bigger, and we couldn't unlearn what we learned. We learned that there are other avenues out there. And the way we saw it was, we saw this industry as an accelerator, that this is where we wanted to go. We could take the long way around to get there. Eventually, maybe we would get there. We could take the long way around, or we could use this as an accelerator and we could get what we wanted faster. So we went home. We went to work. We made a plan all the way home. We had a 10-hour business meeting.
Yeah.
And I don't know like where you fall on the personality spectrum. I don't fall into the 10-hour business meeting spectrum.
I do.
He does. So he talked at me for 10 hours. He made me come up with a mission statement, a vision statement. I was like,
those a logo.
He made a logo. We named our team because he was like, if you name it,
it has a life.
It has a life. So we named the team. When he's making me come up with mission statements and vision statements, I was like, those are the same things. He's like, no, they are not. Then I get an hour lecture on why they're different. So a very long business meeting. But what we did when we got home is we went to work. And I'll tell you exactly what we did, because I hear people all the time that say vague things about what they did and how they got where they were going. We went home and got very, very strategic with our time. And we went home and got very on the spot with doing things over and over and over again, continuously on a schedule. We said, in order to build this business, we are going to have a mixer in our house every Tuesday night. And from there until the end of time, we had a mixer at our house every Tuesday night. Did we have no shows? Absolutely.
But the house was clean.
That was always the bonus. We're like, we're going to clean the house. And if no one shows up, we have a clean house to watch TV in. So that's good. So did we have no shows? Yes. Was it a debilitating blow? Like, yes. It hurt when you have no shows, but we looked at the bright side. The house was clean. Did we have times when only one person showed up? Yes. Is that a little awkward? Absolutely. I would rather talk to a room full of thousands than a room full of two. And we had a lot of rooms full of two, but we got really good at the basics. We got really good at explaining what we had Well, here it is. We got really good at explaining what we saw, what we did, and where we were going. And if I could give you any tips tonight, that is what you need to tell people. I see a lot in NeoLife. So I'm new here and I'm not telling you all that this is what you do, but I do see this a lot. I see a lot of people that dive deep into the science here. Now, we have the best products that I've ever seen. I've been in the health and wellness industry for a very long time. I've been a part of direct sales for 17 years, and we have the best products that I've ever had my hands on. I can say that confidently. Your compensation plan is the best that I've seen. But people are not moved into action by science. They're moved into action by emotion. They're moved into action by stories. Stories sell, facts tell. Now, you're going to have to tell them facts. You're going to have to tell them about our products. Absolutely. But leading with that and hiding behind that is a killer of your business. So what we got really good at doing is telling people what we saw and what got us excited about this. So I would ask you that. Take just a second and remember, what got you excited about NeoLife? What was it? Was it a product? Was it the income? What did you see that got you excited? That is how I want you to start with your story. So what did you see? And then what'd you do? Tell us the next thing. Did you get started on products? And then what happened? Did you lose weight? Did you feel better? Did you look better? Did you perform better? So what'd you see? Where were you? What'd you see? What did you do? What happened? And then where are you going? Those are the pieces of the story that people need to hear. And if you can get their attention, they'll ask you questions. And when they ask you questions, we get to tell them some facts. We get to tell them about our products. We get to tell them how they're the best out there. But we've got to get their attention by showing them our heart. I have been working with people this week on their stories, and I've been working with people this week on sending out messages on Facebook, and they were saying they're not getting anywhere with their messages, but their messages were reading very copy and paste, if you will. It was like, hey, would you be interested in taking a look at a business that's dramatically changed my life, and we have the best products known to man? It'd say something like that. And I'd say, respectfully, I wouldn't respond to that message because it wasn't meant for me. That message was meant for someone. That message was meant for everyone. But when you're sending a message, you have to send a message that's meant for that person. So they want to hear what happened to you. So you send a message saying, hey, Barbara, I don't know if this would interest you at all. Always give them an out. So I don't know if this would interest you at all, but my cousin approached me about this health and wellness business. I wasn't interested either. Don't worry, you may not be. But I actually gave it time. I looked into it. I got started on the products. Daniel lost 10 pounds in what felt like 2.5 seconds. It took me a little longer because that's what happens with women. But we feel better than we've ever felt. We're putting some extra money in our pockets by sharing the products. I really feel like we've stumbled upon something that everyone can find, where everyone can find a place. The products may not be for you. Maybe it's just the products. It's not the income opportunity. But I'll tell you what, if you want to look into it, if anything like strikes your fancy and you want to check it out, you won't be disappointed because everyone can use a little more good in their life. And this company is full of a whole lot of good. It's full of good products, full of good people. It's full of good stories. It's full of good company. So I think everybody can use a little bit more good. So if anything, if that sounds like something you would want to look into a little more, I'd be glad to send you a sample of my favorite product. It's a shake. It's amazing. Or I'd be glad to send you a recording of an event that we did last night, or I'd be glad to invite you on the next thing that we have tomorrow night at 8:00, whatever it is. You've got to share your heart with people in order for them to respond. Because if they feel like they're if they feel like they're one of a million, then they're going to treat you the same way. But if you take the time to personalize your story and share your heart with them, if nothing else, they'll respond and say, Barbara, I appreciate you so much for reaching out. I don't think the timing's right. I really love what I'm doing right now, but thank you so much for reaching out. Then you leave them with their dignity. Then you say, thank you so much for responding. I totally understand. If you are doing something right now that makes you happy, it makes you better, and you are loving life, keep doing what you're doing. I would never tell anybody to stop that. But if you're ever looking for anything that we offer, it would be my joy and my honor to walk alongside you. So let me know. Because here's the thing. Think about this. If I had everyone on this call raise their hand and you tell me, are you in the market for a new car right now? Raise your hand. Some people are, right? I've got a kid, I've got a 17-year-old, but I've got a child that's turning 16 in December. So in the next year, I guess we are looking for a new to us car. But if I said, raise your hand if you could be in the market for a new car, for a new to you car over the next 5 years, how many people would raise their hand? Maybe, right? Someone's driving their car right there. Daniel's driving a car. Like, there we go. They say that they need a new car, probably rolling, like, running the wheels off of that one. So that opened up a whole lot more people. That's a much bigger pool. So if we go in and we share with our heart and we just tell people what we're doing, it may not be for them right now. They may not see a place for it right now. But if we leave them with their dignity, if we show them our heart and we leave the door open and we just keep sharing and sprinkling on them, you never know when in the next 5 years they could be in the market for health and wellness. Maybe they're going to want to look better, feel better, or perform better. Maybe their products stop working as well as they used to. Or maybe they just see you crushing it and they know that you shared with them with your heart. They know that you left them, feeling great about themselves. You didn't try to talk them into doing what you're doing. It's really important. Like, those are the basics of how to get started in this business fast. It is craft your story the right way, share your story the right way, and then leave them with their dignity, no matter what their answer is.
Yeah. And I would say, and the folks that say yes, right, honor every one of them.
Yeah.
Right? We'd say exactly what she said. And the folks that said yes, fight like the Dickens to get them results.
Yeah.
Right. Because results are what make it, right? You get a mother of 5, or excuse me, mother of 4, 3, or whatever, right? Put on a little weight after the babies, right? You help her get results. She goes to church and they'd be like, oh girl, what are you doing? Right.
Just think about it. A mom of 3, 4, or 5, they've gained the weight. They're exhausted, because all moms are. They probably need some more time. And with that many kids, you probably need some more income. That's 4 strikes. That's 4 things that we can help them with.
And so you focus on doing what's best for them. And that is getting her the results that she wants. Right. And you help her out. Right. Because, it's not about just slinging products. It's about getting them results, because results, she's going to go to church or she's going to go to school and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? She's like, well, I got started on this stuff. She's probably not, she don't care about selling this stuff, right? But she's going to introduce you to another market. She's going to introduce you to the market. And we got really good at getting a lot of people on a little bit of product, right? That's how this business is done. A lot of people on a little bit of product, right? And there's going to be some business builders, or actually there's going to be a handful of just casual promoters, right? There's going to be a handful of casual promoters, and you're going to love on those, right? And you're going to help them out when they want to be helped out, and you're going to help them, right? Make a little bit of that extra fun money, right? But then there's going to be people like you who are serious, right? And those are about 2%. If I'm being honest with you, you're in the top 2%, right? You look at this and you go, I want to do something with this. I see it bigger. I could actually change my life for the good in this. And those people you lock arms with, and you just walk the walk beside them. You lead them with truth and grace. You link them into corporate. You link them into other leaders. You link them into the community. And that's really the third thing we did, is we built a community and we loved on people, whether they wanted to sit and enjoy the campfire, whether they wanted to build the community around us, or whether they wanted to be, building their own communities, right? Yep. We loved on everybody. And so those no-show mixers turned into 2-person mixers. Those 2-person mixers turned into 10-person mixers. Those 10-person mixers turned into 50, right? And so, and then you start having to go to events where you're doing 200, right? But what we did is we didn't do 1,000 different things.
Yeah.
Right? We did about a handful of things 1,000 times, over and over and over and over. And I'll tell you, doing that, getting good at your story,
getting great at the fundamentals,
leaving people with their dignity when they said no, and being there and being relevant in their life. But the people that said yes, getting them results, and getting really good at the people that you're introduced to telling that story, right? And building that community. So anyway, go over. I don't know how long we have, so I may have went over.
No, all right, Bob, do you have anything you want us to go over specifically? Because I don't want to go too long. I just want to make sure that I answer.
We have you booked till 11:30 tonight, so you got.
That sounds great. That sounds perfect.
No,
So
actually, I got to be out of here by 6:30. But Daniel, can you elaborate on what it means to leave them with their dignity? Just briefly, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, for me, what it means is that, I was, I always, when they said no, right? When they said no or not right now, people are, or even if they didn't answer you right away, I don't get mad at them, right? Like
but in the beginning, it hurt our feelings.
Yeah, it hurt my
right?
feelings.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Nobody likes to be rejected.
Yeah.
Like, and that kind of keeps you, and that keeps you scared. And you know what I mean? You don't want to be rejected. But the reality is, like, I had to convince myself, and I'll get there. I'll get there. But I had to convince myself that I had this. I used to use this all the time, but now it takes a different meaning. But like, I had the vaccine, right? I used to say
we used this way before COVID, by the way. This has nothing to do with it.
It was like everybody was walking around like who was zombie bit, right? And they were walking around just doing life and paying bills and dying, right? But our life, people would look at us and say, oh man, that's incredible, right? I'm not a showy person, right? I just to let y'all know, like we don't put it all out there, like, but we try to be positive lights in the world and energy givers, right? And so what happened when people are like, oh man, how y'all went there, y'all did this or whatever, or how do you doing that, right? And so I knew our life was a little different, right? And we were starting to achieve what we wanted, what I saw initially on that stage. And so I felt like I had this, like these zombies were walking around paying bills and dying, and like I had this antidote. Right. And so I had to, in my mind, like look at myself and go, I'm here to help this person. And if they want what I got, awesome. I'm going to walk beside them and I'm going to love on them. If they don't, that's okay too. They just don't see it right now. There's an ancient wisdom, right, that talks about seeds, right? A sower. And some seeds fall on hard ground, and some seeds fall on good ground. Some seeds fall and get choked out by thorns. But the truth is, you got to love on, like you got to continue to throw the seeds, right? And the ones that grow, those are the ones we love on. And the ones that don't grow, we're still going to water them we're still going to treat them all the same. And so to me, leaving them with their dignity was not getting mad or not taking offense, just knowing that it's not right now for them.
And honoring where they are.
And honoring them, right? And respecting them and giving them a way out, right? And because if you ever trap me, or if I ever feel like I'm walking into a trap, we've got people in our life who will be like, so what are y'all doing next weekend? And I'm like, weekend? What do you mean weekend? Like,
we don't know what a weekend is.
What's weekend? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, I'll start like, whoa, I feel this trap coming. So we
don't know what you're going to say. So we're not going to give you an answer.
Right?
We're going to dodge, bob, and weave.
And so in that case, like I always wanted to give people the opportunity to say no, because the truth is, and what I learned when I matured in this business was that if I close that door, it's closed.
Yeah.
Right. But the door never closes unless I close it.
Right.
Right. And the fastest way to close that is to just get mad and be like, well, they're just stupid. The world's just, they don't want it or whatever.
Or like alternative, like, I heard someone was sharing with someone last week and they were trying to share our shakes with them. I think our shakes are the greatest tasting shakes I've ever put in my mouth. And I've tasted a lot of them, but they were telling them that they said that they had shakes that they liked a lot. Well, our promoter was like, well, I mean, I know you like your shakes, but ours are better. I mean, okay, they are. But you've got to be delicate with it. Like you can't put them on the defensive. The fastest way to lose someone is to challenge them and put them on the defensive. Because when you put someone on the defense and you make them stand up and defend a product that they're taking or defend something that they're doing, it literally triggers the same part in your brain as physical pain. And it actually digs them in deeper, right? So if somebody says that they're happy doing what they're doing, We can just simply say, I'm so glad that you found something that's working for you. That's amazing. That's wonderful. I would never, and here's the truth, I would never want anyone to stop doing something that is working for them. You wouldn't either. Now, I think our shakes are better. I think they taste better. I think they probably work better. But if they're happy doing what they're doing, then I want them to keep doing that. But when the day comes that they're looking for something doesn't make them happy that they're doing, I want them to feel confident coming back to me.
Years later, people would come
Yeah,
back and be like,
years.
hey, you're doing that vitamin thing still, right?
Yep.
And be like, matter of fact, what do you need? Oh, you know what? This company or they changed the product or whatever. Do y'all have this kind of product? Absolutely, we do. And we help them out. And so it's just always being relevant in their life and never forgetting what it's like on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Right? Like never, ever, ever forget that. Right? Because you were on the other side one time.
Okay, great. Hey, you guys, can you guys put your questions in the chat? And we have a question here, Daniel, and actually it says, could you also elaborate on what a typical mixer would look like?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I do a Discover More, like I do an online Zoom every week called Discover More. It's exactly what we did as our mixers, except we did it in person. So if you want to join into one of those Discover Mores, I do one every week. And all it is it is a very simple, I would have a PowerPoint there, but you can do whatever you want, but we would take 20 minutes and we would go over what is this business. So for us, it's what is NeoLife? And what I mean by that is who we are, what we do, what we have, and how we can be a solution in their life. Show them a picture of who we are and what we do and what we have, and then a visual picture of how we can fit into their life. And then after that's over, so first of all, everybody would come in, we'd hand them something delicious. If it's a shake party, you're going to let them sample a shake. So hand them something delicious. Here's a tip. Don't say, do you want this? Just say, here you go. That's one of the most powerful lines. If you say, do you want to try this? Then they're going to start asking you questions about ingredients. Nobody wants to answer those questions.
Serve it. Go get cheap dollar.
Yeah, we got some great tips by one of the best distributors in all of direct sales. Here's what it was. Don't ask people if they want it. Meet them at the door and hand it to them and say, here you go. You're going to love this. Love it. And she said, go and get glasses, real glasses. Stop using the solo cups because that's probably what we're doing. Real glasses. You can get the cheap ones that are like, go to the Goodwill or dollar store, get the cheap ones, but actual glasses. Put them in actual glasses with ice and put a lemon wedge on the side. She was like,
for that drink,
for that drink, not the shakes, but this was another drink. It was fruity. She was like, the presentation matters. And I will tell you what, just switching from solo cups to glasses, just stopping saying, hey, do you want to try this? It's good. I think you'll like it too. Here you go. You're going to love this. It changed everything, but no one argued. No one asked us about the ingredients. They just took it and drank it. It was fantastic. So little bitty things like that. So you meet them at the door. You've got something, you invite them in. And here is the biggest tip that I can give you. Don't be busy. Your presence is the gift. You can't be busy in the kitchen. You can't be busy cleaning. You can't be busy doing other things. If you're the host, your presence is the gift. That's what they're there for. So you've got to be present. You've got to make eye contact. You've got to talk even when you're tired.
Yeah. Real quick. Like it's easy for her, right? She's a herd animal. I'm a pack animal. Right. And so like I had to do what we jokingly ended up calling mental calisthenics, right? Like before a mixer, I'd have to we call it
jazz himself.
We got to turn it on, right? Like you don't, it's not fake, it's genuine, right? But if you're someone like me who just is not naturally like a herd animal, right? And you like your pack, right? But you're about to get introduced to a lot of new people. You like, in order to be, we are in the people gathering business, right? Yeah. That's the truth. It takes, in this business, success requires opportunity. Opportunities require people. People require relationships, right? Relationships require conversations. And often conversations first require a smile. And if you're not willing to do that, right, you got to check that. So I had to check that myself.
And he's got an angry face.
And I had to do mental calisthenics, right? And all right, get my mind right, get my mind right. All right, go. It's go time, right? And so anyway,
And at the end of the night, I would be all energized because I got to talk to a lot of people, meet a lot of people. He'd fall flat on his face asleep. It was so hard for him because he had to be on and he had to be excited and, genuinely talk to people and get to know them. And that's not where everybody's home is. So invite them in, give them your presents, tell them at a certain time, have music. That is a big deal. Otherwise, it's a little awkward. Have music playing. And then tell them at a certain time, y'all are going to sit down in the living room and you're going to tell them a little bit more about NeoLife. And then tell them a little bit more about NeoLife. 20 minutes. Nice. And then at the end of the 20 minutes, you invite them. You're going to say, all right, everybody can get up. You can get another, sample of the shakes. You can go to the bathroom. I'm going to turn the music on. And then any questions you have, I'm here to answer them. And if anybody's ready to get started on products, I'm going to match you with the right products because everyone's body is uniquely and wonderfully made. And we're going to personally match you with the right products. So thank you all so much for coming tonight. Press play on the thing. If you don't have music, no one will get up. That is what we learned. Everybody sits there awkwardly looking at you. So
I'd make a joke about it. I'm like, if
time.
I don't turn on music, y'all just go sit here and we'll stare at each other for about 2 minutes.
Yep.
So let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. I'm turning it on.
So bathrooms,
that's how we ended it.
And then the people that were wanting to think about it a little more, they'd ask a couple of questions. Here's the thing. If you create community, people don't get up and walk right out. They linger. And it's something that we've taught our kids. We've taught them to linger longer, show up before events, stay after events, be engaged, walk slowly through the crowd. And that is what people do when you build community. So we built a community to where people were staying at our house for ages. It was a beautiful, tiring thing to where at one point we're like, guys, we got to go to work in the morning. So you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So it was great. We did it every single Tuesday night. And that is how we built our business, because my thinking was, if I can have an event that is fun, after the event, the people are going to talk about it. And if it's fun enough that they talk about it after the event, they're going to want to bring somebody else with them. So my point and my philosophy of the whole thing was to make it fun, make it something in this day and age, this post-COVID, during wherever we're at. You've got to have an event that is worth putting pants on, pants with a button, because we've all spent so long in our house in our stretchy pants on Zoom that we don't put on pants with buttons anymore. So you've got to have an event that is worth putting pants with a button on, and then get them there, have a blast, so that when they go to, sorry, Daniel put up the chat. Now I can't focus. So when they go to it, they go to work the next day, they talk about how much fun they had. They tell a joke that Daniel said. They invite them back and they bring more people the next week. And that is exactly how you do it. You have a few people and you keep doubling your numbers. Now, the weekly Discover Mores that I do, they're on different days each week at different times to catch different people around the country. Since I'm doing it from a corporate perspective, I try to catch each time zone. I've already done the one for this week. Next week, it's going to be a dedicated health talk. Jamie Summers is going to be the one hosting that next Wednesday night. I'm going to be in Europe for the next 2 weeks. So excited about that. So while I'm gone, Jamie Summers is going to do a health talk next week. And then she's fantastic. And then she's going to host it the next week in a brand new presentation that we've been working on called 3 for Free Club Member Presentation. So a health talk next week and then a 3 for free. You can join in anytime you want. And you can, now for mine each week, I always use the same Zoom link. So all you've got to do is save that over to the side and then just look. I always post them on the NeoLife Business Builders page. I'll post a flyer and it doesn't say NeoLife. That way you can post it on your page. You can send it to people. It causes conversation. So you can take that slide that I make, that picture. It is always the same Zoom link. You can save that and you can join in any week.
That's a good question. All
right. Follow up. Did the same people come back to Mixers or was it? Oh, no, absolutely. I will tell you, the people that came the first week came every week for years and years and years. They listened to our mouth.
Yeah, we didn't change it up. We got better.
But our point was,
our first one was awful. Though,
it was so terrible.
2 hours long. It was terrible.
It makes me cringe. I can't believe anybody ever came back after that first one. But our point was, we're going to say the same thing over and over and over and over again, to where they are, when they look in the mirror and somebody asks them a question, they just start hearing me flow out of their mouth. We didn't want them to think that they had to be a genius to do this. We didn't want them to think that they had to flex and move and know everything to do this. We wanted them to see that all we do is show up every week. We clean our house. We invite people over and we say the
Only
same
the
thing.
living room and
Only the
kitchen.
living room. That's true. We shoved everything else behind doors, but we would clean the living room and kitchen and invite everybody over. And we'd say the same thing over and over and over and over. And do you know that the people in the room never got tired of it? It gave them confidence. It gave them comfort in knowing what they were inviting people to.
And
It wasn't a shock. They knew what they were inviting people to. They knew if the person was going to like it, and they knew that they could turn around and do it. So when we were out of town, they could come into our living room or people could come into theirs and they could do the exact same event. Now, every week they did bring new people back because the point of this business is to share it with other people. So they would invite a whole bunch of people, but usually one would show up with each person. And we eventually, maxed out our living room because of that. So what was the defining moment that made you connect to NeoLife? For me, Barbara, yes. Hey, Micah, it was exactly like church. You create a community that people want to be a part of. They feel awesome when they get there. They feel awesome when they leave and they want to come back. It's exactly like that. And honestly, most of the people of our church were the people that started the business with us anyway.
Mhm.
It was 3 people in our young adult group at church that started our business. And those 3 people were still there with us at the end. So
Do we have
exactly
to
right.
take an offering then?
No, you know what? Well, technically they bought some products.
We
So
had the computer
probably
ready.
we did always have the computer ready.
We had a couple of computers ready.
So the defining moment for me with NeoLife was I had looked at a lot of other companies and I just couldn't get behind them, whether it was the products didn't taste good or the products, I tried them and they didn't work, or there are some really bad pay plans out there. And then there's some great companies that have poor leadership. And I really, really dove into several of them. And the ones that got me the most were the ones that had really great people, but their leadership was poor. And you're not going to go anywhere. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And then I would, try something else and experiment with it. And I was like, these products taste like poop. I could never, ever sell these products. I would have to trick somebody into buying them because they taste so bad. And then there's other products that we put in our bodies and we never saw any difference. The defining moment for me was I ordered products. Well, one, I knew Stephen Whitwell. We knew Stephen Whitwell personally. He's a personal friend. He was part of our corporate office in the company that we were a part of. He helped us build our business every step of the way. He was
new. We were new.
He was new. We were new. Yeah. Like we came
He was new to the industry.
Yeah. New to the industry. We were new to the industry. And, he was kind of like our upline because we didn't have an upline. So Stephen was a big part of our life and a big part of helping us build the business. He believed in us before anybody else did. Stephen was the very first corporate staff member that ever believed in us. Literally, he's the first person that ever put us on stage, the first person that ever asked us to share our story. And he was the first person that told us we were going to do this forever. So his opinion and where he is means a lot to us because we respect him a lot. So that was a big deal because I knew he would not go somewhere that was not credible. But then I got on the phone with him and he told me about NeoLife. And he said, I know you don't think you will. I know that we never thought we would ever find anything that was as good as what we lost. And he said, and I won't tell you it's better because that's going to have to come from you. He was like, but for me, I never thought I'd find anything that was as good. And NeoLife is better. He said, and I really want you to look into it. So I did. I ordered products. I got them in. And on the day that I shook up my first shake, because remember, I tried a bunch of products that didn't taste good. I shook up that first shake and I literally said out loud, this is not a joke. I literally said, dear Lord, please just let this taste good. Like, I like these people. I like this company. I think this is heading in the right direction. Dear Lord, please just let it taste good. And I honestly think he blessed that shake right there and then because it touched my tongue and I was like, oh, praise Jesus. This is the best thing ever. It was so good. My knees got weak because I just knew it was going to taste bad. Everything was going so good. I met Kendra and she is wise beyond her years. She's strong. She's kind. The right morals and values are leading this company. The products work, the products taste good, and your compensation plan was great. And to me, those are the 4 aspects that you need. You need the right products. You need the right compensation plan. you need the right leaders in the corporate office, and you need the right community. And you guys had all 4 of those. And I had not found another company since the one I was with and the one that I loved and the one that I would be with still today had it not been taken away, because I believed in what I was doing then just as strongly as I believe in what I'm doing now. And that is a big statement, because I threw a lot of my life and my heart into that business. And when it went away, it broke me down. I did not think I was worth very much at all. I didn't think I would ever find anything that filled me up again. I didn't think that I thought I'd lost a piece of myself forever. I thought I lost our best chance at extraordinary. And when I found NeoLife and found you all, I immediately felt at home. And that doesn't sound like a lot to all of you, especially if you've been with NeoLife forever, but not having a home for those 3 years and then finding it was very overwhelming emotionally for me to find somewhere, that fit. So thank y'all for welcoming me into the family. I appreciate it.
There's another question.
Oh, what's the, all right. I know you've got to go in 5 minutes. So let me see. All right. We're particularly interested in the Discover More on Presenting the Business. Your announcements are, yes, the announcements will always be on the Business Builders Facebook page. So I've got those. I put them in there every week. Now, I'm sorry, I'm talking to you 2 days before I leave on vacation, but they'll be back mid-June. I am going to post Jamie Summers' Health Talk. I'm going to post it tomorrow. She's going to host it next Wednesday night. And then I'm going to post the one for the following week as well. That way you've got both of them, because the next week she's going to be doing it and you'll have both of those links. And then when I get back, I will post it and I will make sure that it's the same link as always.
So Jamie will be on your link, your Zoom link.
No, Jamie's got her own link. I'll post it tomorrow though, because my
okay.
link's the NeoLife corporate link. So let's see. Micah, yes. The mixers, she says, you say mixers are going to be, oh, I'm sorry, Micah, he said the mixers are going to be the next step in our NeoLife adventure. I believe that. And here's why. I heard somebody say not long ago that people just don't meet in person. Like people just don't gather in living rooms anymore. People just don't want to gather. They don't want to get out of their house. They want to meet on Zoom. They want to do that. I want you to know that couldn't be further from the truth. We have all been on Zoom so long. Now, if it's not worth their time, they're going to want to stay in stretchy pants on Zoom. That's just all there is to it. But if it's worth their time, people are ready to be around others again. They are hungry for community. And if I've seen anything lately, it's that we can fill rooms if you will invite them in. So if you're still not comfortable inviting people into your house, that's no big deal. You can do it on Zoom. But when you finally feel comfortable to go to events and invite people to events, people are hungry for community. You're going to be surprised at how very fast people will show up if it's fun. Yes, absolutely. And thanks for inviting us 2 days before vacation.
So I'll tell you, I know we got 3 minutes and I want to make sure you close on it.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
No. I just heard something, and we've talked a lot about different things, right? So hopefully something you've heard added value. So there's a book, or an author I love, Andy Andrews. Some of you may have heard of him, but he's got a book, a bunch of books, but one of my favorite is one called The Noticer and The Noticer Returns. And it's about an old man named Jones, and Jones just kind of shows up in people's lives and gives them wisdom. And if I could grow up one day and be Jones, that's what I would ideally be.
That's his goal.
That's my goal in life. And so I was listening to it the other day, and he said something I just want to share with you, and hopefully I get it right. And if I get it wrong, I apologize. But basically what he said was, you can't, let me say it this way. Wanting to achieve something extraordinary, right? By thinking, like by doing something that everybody else is, by doing something that everybody else is doing, by doing it the way everybody else is doing, is like buying a lottery ticket and expecting to win, and buying a single lottery ticket that millions of others have bought, right?
Same numbers, yeah.
It's the odds are slim, right? So what does that mean? That means if you are doing things just like everybody else is doing, you're probably doing it wrong. That's a pretty bold statement, right? Why do I say that? Because everybody else is not achieving extraordinary things. They're the average, right? So if you're doing what they're doing, then you're just contributing to the average. Even if you're doing it at a high level, you're just simply contributing to the average at a high level, right? If we had an opportunity, we didn't come here to be average, right? If I were to ask you, do you want an average marriage? Do you want an average relationship with your family? Do you want an average income? Do you want an average positive influence in your community? Do you want an average life, right? If I could give you a magic wand and you sprinkle it all over the place, and I'd be like, you can do whatever you want with this wand. Guarantee every one of those aspects and more would be beyond extraordinary. And so we cannot afford to think like average people think. We cannot afford to do what average people do, right? And we cannot be what average people are, because we want extraordinary. And so we can't just be average or normal in our thinking. It's okay to think differently.
I'm not going to pick up the football after you spike it like that.
I didn't spike it.
All right. Thank y'all so much. All right, Bob, anything else that you need from us?
Well, as long as we can keep in touch, we go to that Facebook page, Business Builders, and then we can find out when you're doing Discover More, is it called?
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
sir. And then you can take that flyer and you can take that link and share it with your team anytime.
Okay. Well, we thank you guys so much. We hope you have a great time in Europe. And thank you so much for, we're an old team, and so we need to get get some momentum off dead center and explode. And so we really appreciate so very, very, very much you guys helping us with your input. Thank you so much. And
anytime, y'all just let us know anytime you need us to come in. We will be here with bells on, and there are lots of great things coming. So if you're looking to get off the starting line or you're looking to restart, there's a lot of great things coming down the pipe from the corporate office that it's going to make your job and your life a lot easier. So we're excited about it. I think this is going to be the very best year yet. So thank y'all so much.
Okay,
we appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys helping us, and we will be in touch because we want to have more contact with you guys. Thank you so very, very much. Have a great time in Europe.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.